Let's start intergalactically because that is what everyone's talking about. This picture, oh my God. And
There's
we have
many.
it. Yes, it's taken decades and billions of dollars, but the James Webb Space Telescope has finally beamed back some stunning images showing the deepest view of outer space ever captured. And it feels quaint. It should feel exciting, but it feels quaint.
It's pretty awesome. Have you seen this?
But
No,
I want
seen
more.
it.
Yeah, show Adam. The images show thousands of galaxies and offers a look at space from as far back as 13 billion years ago. And by the way, we're looking at a picture right now, and it looks infinite and vast. As for how big this image is, the NASA website says it covers a patch of sky approximately the size of a grain of sand held at arm's length by someone on the ground. And we're looking at numerous galaxies. These are the first images, and the telescope is expected to ultimately transmit more. There have been...
I saw all this shit in 1967.
oh, boy.
You know why?
Why?
Because I saw the opening of the TV show A Family Affair,
Okay.
which looked exactly like this.
Why did Family Affair open like this?
I have no idea why Family Affair. And we discussed Buffy's tragic overdose death and the many songs that were written about it. But if you find the opening of Family Affair, you'll see this. But can I say this? Think about this ratio. Just think about this ratio, and could there be anything bigger than this ratio? The amount of time between someone says, I have an idea, let's build an incredible space scope and send it into the atmosphere and have it travel years and in galaxies beyond our reach and all that kind of stuff. And 30 years and $200 billion later, we get our first image, and the average American looks at it for 3.7 seconds. Like, all right.
And it scrolls past it.
There you go.
These are stars.
And if you said to the person, this is pretty important, they'd get testy. Yeah. Like they'd go, I fucking saw it. I saw it. It's stars. Yep.
I get it.
It's
colorful. Is that the difference? There's
They're
color
a little
this time?
bigger than our stars.
That's it. But yes.
Now, how about the guys who will buy a star? Gina, as the gal here, give me a read on if a guy wants to buy a girl a star. Do you know these guys?
That is the worst.
It's usually like a guy. Yeah, usually hear the idea brewing in like an IHOP parking lot, and there's probably a joint being passed, and Gabe's like, I'm thinking about buying Beth a star and naming it after. And then, as soon as I get a job and can afford it, and I don't know how I feel about that.
All right, what would be the worst in the gift department? And by the way, the star named after you, this is like we're going to, give me $500 and I'll make sure that part of Grandpa's ashes go into outer space. Right. Is it ever confirmed?
No. They have the tree in Israel. They have the little child in a third world country. They have, now you can own an inch of land in Scotland and be a lord. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I will say this.
Get the fuck out of here.
What don't you, as a gift?
Yeah.
As a gift. I've named a star after you, honey.
Okay.
Or I've made a donation in your name, unspecified amount, to my charity.
Oh. What's a charity?
Oof. It's Scoliosis Society. Don't try to spell it.
I think for like cocktail party talking points, I guess I'll take the star, but neither of them really move the needle.
At least the donation is going to a good cause.
No.
Ultimately, the star is pure fiction.
But that's what I'm saying. If you're talking about just the wow factor for your girlfriend,
and then,
she doesn't give a shit about
then how do you verify it? Like wait till nightfall and then go, no, that's Orion's belt. It's right. It's
the shiny one?
If Orion had a runny nose, you'd be Orion's
hanky
booger. Like, look up. It's above Orion's belt.
Oh, is it that really bright blue one?
Oh,
that's a Union 76 station. You got to go up more.
Wait, I'm looking through my telescope. Oh my God, is it the one with the ring around it?
Yeah, all right. Yeah. And speaking of rings, that'll be the last we speak of it.
Fuck.
Do we have the Family Affair?
Now, riddle me this. Do you think anyone has ever... there's been virginities lost over the purchasing of a star or like any sort of relationship upgrade.
Oh God, no.
A great moment in hookup history.
Maybe
Did something
early
happen
on
to
in
the
like
girl?
the
She was like,
90s.
Right, when it was first
kind of
rolled out.
novelty.
like, James, I'm not going to blow you. I'm not going to blow you. I don't care. We're not there yet. I don't even know your favorite color. I've never even met your dog. There's just so much we have to do. You don't like Sheryl Crow, which is a huge red flag in the human handbook. You think Carol Baskin's a good person. I just don't. I'm not blowing you. And then he goes, just open your birthday card, babe. What is this? You bought me a, oh my God. Right.
I do.
That's her. That's not her
All right, well,
going down. That's her getting choked up.
Oh.
And then James goes, yeah, I made the right call. He's like, can you Venmo me $300? By the way, I used your credit card.
Can we show? Wait a minute. Why did she have to
Yeah,
Venmo
why
him?
did
All
the
right, we'll share the beginning of Family Affair. It was all chronicled in
He's not doing well.
1967.
It's like a kaleidoscope
Yeah.
effect.
I find this more visually compelling.
Suzanne Summers is in this.
No, but she should have been.
She should have been.
This is the whole
Is that
opening.
pepperoni?
Yeah,
Not
it just looks
everything
like
is food, Adam.
red and orange and pink kaleidoscope.
I don't know, man. That's a pretty decent shot of rotating pepperoni.
All right, sorry.
John Williams. John Williams, the composer?
Not the John Williams.
No.
Unlikely.
The original butler was played by Sebastian Cabot.
Of course.
What a name.
His name was Mr. French. And then he moved on.
That's a
and
guy
they
that doesn't have to
replaced
buy
him.
a star to get blown.
That's right.
That's right.
What else you got, Gina?
Well, let's talk about this this gaffe from Dr. Jill Biden. She has apologized for saying that Latinos are as unique as tacos during a speech to the nation's largest Hispanic civil rights and advocacy organization. She flew to San Antonio on Monday to address an annual conference of Unidos US, which is a Latino civil rights and advocacy group. But Biden's attempt at a compliment stumbled a little. She mispronounced bodega and made this taco comment. Here's the clip.
Diversity of this community, as distinct as the Bogotas of the Bronx, as beautiful as the blossoms of Miami, and as unique as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio, is your strength.
She doesn't need to. I mean, she should apologize for pandering,
Yeah.
but
Yes,
that's
exactly.
That's why
It's not offensive.
fine.
It's
you know,
dumb.
we quietly we talk a lot about being racist and racializing and everything, and as it turns to blacks, but Hispanics we're the worst on because we go like, oh, you want to go after these people? Who's going to clean your toilet? Who's going to pick up your dog shit?
It's offensive.
Yeah, who's going to pick your lettuce?
Who's going to be the bottom in gay porn?
Oh,
Who? Yeah, who's going to pick that fucking lettuce you're eating right now? You want it to cost $89? Who is going to pick up your dog shit? Who's going to rake your lawn? Who's going to eat your wife's pussy when she becomes morbidly obese? Who? These people. These proud people.
They
Like,
did the job they don't want to do.
they never go like, who's going to
you know-
teach your kids at the college level? It's always like, who's gonna suck out the porta potty with the honey wagon? Who's gonna hook that hose up
Hispanics
after?
are like, we get it. Okay. Thank you for your help.
Yes, you're hurting more than you're helping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Who's gonna slave in a
Brad
kitchen? Yes. Sorry. Go ahead.
I saw Brad in a Cirque du Soleil show last night here in Vegas.
Oh, my
Matt
God.
Apple.
And he comes out at one point, and there's a Mexican guy. I guess he's doing this thing called the Wheel of Death at the end, where he's like jumping up on this wheel that's rotating. Like it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And Brad comes out to do a little pitch for the closing of the show for people to buy merch, and he goes, Jesus, he goes, Mexicans really just will take any job. Why would you do he goes, the Wheel of Death wasn't even like something you could go, maybe not that, maybe I'll go.
Who's gonna ride your wheel of death? Who's gonna pull the snot rockets out of the drinking fountain at your kid's school? Who's gonna dry your car after it goes through the car wash? Who, I ask you?
No mas.
Who's gonna take care of your elderly racist nana? Who's gonna carry you in and out of the Trader Joe's? Who?
It's not the compliment.
I know.
Yeah. little update. Do you remember that weird couple with the same last name that had no relation? Remember Casey White and the prisoner and the guard?
She died. Right?
Vicky White. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's the one that kind of snuck him out of jail. They were on the run for like 10 days. Well, there's a follow-up with them. Casey White, he was the inmate who escaped from an Alabama prison before getting caught, just got charged over the death of prison guard Vicky White. Now, let's remind ourselves how she died. TMZ reports that Casey's...
She is so young Jodie Foster here.
I see it.
Freaky Friday era.
Even though she's
young Jodie Foster meets the aforementioned John Williams, composer. We already brought up.
What does John Williams look like?
That's not John Williams.
No, the other
the
Paul
guitarist.
Williams. Sorry,
The
Paul
guitarist.
Williams.
Okay.
No, Paul Williams is a composer.
Well, John Williams
Actor
is the
too.
famous
Yeah, John Williams.
You wrote
is
Rainbow
that
Connection,
one.
I believe.
And Paul
Wow.
Williams.
She's got a
Williams
little-
has written a million.
Yeah, this woman's
songs.
got a little.
Yeah.
This woman's got like some Jodie Foster, also some. God, what's her name? The Tanya Harding, right? It's got a little, maybe Tanya Harding's mom.
Well, before we continue down speaking,
Also,
ill of
she
the
looks like
dead-
the kid from the Christmas Story.
Yep, Ralphie.
Peter Billingsley?
Paul Williams and young Jodie Foster. We shall
No,
make
the
it
other
happen.
kid, Brian. Yeah, the only kid in the Christmas Story that we know
Grover
the name
Dill?
of.
TMZ reports that Casey's charged with felony murder in connection with the death of Vicky White, who died from a gunshot wound to the head when police were closing in on them. Now, how does this work? Who shot her?
And is she going at the end, like when he's shooting her? This is not the convict I knew and fell in love with. This is not the murderer who I fell in love with.
But it's even
so
weirder.
many weeks ago.
It's even weirder. The grand jury indictment alleges that Casey caused Vicky's death in the course of the escaping. Because remember, they claim she shot herself.
Oh, right.
So if you recall, Casey and Vicky, they were on the run for 11 days, leading to this national manhunt. They were tracked down in Indiana. They got into a police chase, crashed the car in a cornfield. Vicky then allegedly shot herself in the head.
Classic.
Casey was pulled from the wreckage, taken into custody, and law enforcement officials said he showed no remorse in learning that Vicky died. Prosecutors say Casey, who's already serving a 75-year sentence for a 2015 crime spree, was served a copy of the indictment Monday in prison. But they are holding him responsible for that.
Well, now he's
Whoa.
in trouble.
Yeah,
Then,
now he's facing some prison time.
Yeah,
Now he
listen,
did it.
mister. Now you're in trouble. What about the poor parents?
Christ.
Because the poor parents of the female
Yeah,
guard,
Vicky.
it's kind of cool that your daughter's doing that job.
Yeah,
You know what
2
I
weeks
mean?
ago, they're super proud.
Yeah.
And they were
CO.
like probably weaving it into
Yeah.
a lot of conversations, and now not as much,
No,
right?
I would keep that pretty quiet if you can at this point. Are you guys familiar?
Yeah, on a whole-
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, on a whole, do you think with people that work in those positions at the at jails, do you think their parents are pretty proud? Like, do you think she was
I
doing that
think-
from the get go?
I don't know.
Did her bakery fail?
It's kind of a novelty for your daughter to
Yeah.
run that job. I don't think you're boasting a lot if your son gets that gig.
Right.
But the daughter's kind of interesting. There's a lot of, good for her working in a man's
I
world.
think you're right. I'll answer your question, Adam, and say, yes, I saw the documentary Attica last year, and Attica is like a prison town. There's like steel towns, or there's whatever town, logging towns, and people would, there'd be generations of prison guards who lived in the town that surrounded the prison.
And you had to then also guard some guys you went to high school with.
You probably.
As if I lived in a prison town, I would be guarding Chris and Ray. Like, there'd definitely be guys I went to high school with who would then have made their way on the wrong side of the bars,
Yeah. I don't think you'll be terribly shocked to hear that in college, my boyfriend was a donut delivery guy and had to deliver
Awesome.
to Lansing and Leavenworth prison every morning.
Oh, really? For the
For the donut,
for
they
the
ordered.
cops,
They had
yeah.
a donut order, a standing
Wow.
donut order.
All right.
that's as
Paul
far as I can go.
Williams and young Jodie Foster. I think we're going to see some doppelganger action.
Now, follow up. Your parents are proud of that, but now follow up. If your kid's a mime, are you bragging at barbecues about that?
You're heartbroken.
I'm in a prison?
Well, first off, I am because someone's got to talk that boy up. He can't do it himself. You know what I mean? He's so busy trying to get out of that lucite box.
Walk in the wind.
That I'm going to have to become an advocate for him.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Nobody likes a jabbery mime. You know what I mean? That fucking mime, such a narcissist. Never stops talking about his mimery.
Oh, shit.
Hey, speaking of that, I just heard a story Rob Reiner tell about I'm going to call him Albert Einstein.
Albert Brooks.
Thank you. Doing that bit a bunch on Johnny Carson, like being a mime, but talking through it. And nobody got it. Nobody laughed. And he kept doing it. He's like, it's funny. I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And nobody got it.
Oh, so we talking Super Dave?
No, I'm talking Albert Brooks.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But do you know that bit?
No, but if it's from the mind of Albert Brooks,
then it's very funny.
It's got to be funny.
Do we have that picture?
Yeah.
We're looking for it.
Okay.
Chris seems unimpressed.
Let's see. I see it. I get it.
Yeah,
That's too young of Jodie Foster.
No, Jodie's making a face and kind of turning. We need to straighten on. But
the other guy, I get it.
Paul Williams.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, that's who it is.
Maybe get
That's
Jodie from like Freaky Friday. You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
13-year-old.
Yeah. Not.
Paul Williams wrote Evergreen for Barbra Streisand. Paul Williams has written many, many mega hits.
It's true.
He looks very English.
I think he wrote The Rainbow Connection, no?
Well,
Sounds about
more
right.
work for Chris,
Okay.
and also, of course, starred as Little Enos in Smoking the Bandit, Part 2 or whatever it was. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Wait, he's American? He has a very doughy British look.
He's an actor, and I'll tell him that next time I see him. Hey, mate. You seem doughy.
Yeah.
You have a very scony British look.
Well, let's get into Marion Barber.
You got poutine fingers.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah. The cause of death has been revealed. The former NFL star running back for the Dallas Cowboys and Chicago Bears is said to have died of heat stroke in June. And kind of possibly by his doing. So Fox News reports that Frisco, Texas police said the medical examiner ruled it was an accident. Barber was found dead on June 1st after police were called to make a welfare check at his apartment that he believed that he was leasing. According to TMZ Sports, officials saw that the thermostat in June was set at 91 and that heat was on. Investigators noted Barber had a history of working out in sauna-like conditions, and police said there was no evidence of trauma or drug overdose. Was he just like hardcore?
I guess.
I think he's played in the league for 10 years.
Yeah.
Something of that.
Yeah, I don't, the thing about the human condition is, football, 2-a-days, heat. I did it in the valley, no water. They just run the shit out of you. And every once in a while, somebody just dies. Like they just can't tolerate it.
Corey Stringer.
Other people can. Yeah.
Oh, I remember my freshman year, we did 2-a-days, sometimes 3-a-days. And I remember this guy, Robert Woods, was a big dude, like 6'5", and definitely packing some pounds on him. And we would run these suicides and whatever, like sometimes just so long where, guys are collapsing, but I remember him like literally passing out, puking. Like I remember even looking over one point and he was like, and our coach was just like, "Get up, Woods." I was like, I think we should, I think
Call a medic.
I don't know if this is going to be the difference in us, getting over the goal line next week. But some coaches are just they just watch Friday Night Lights too many times, and they're just like, they want to be that guy, and they just want to push, and they think like push to get the best out of you. It's like at some point you got to read the room.
What they lack in medical training, they make up for in demanding.
Right.
Paul, you got another picture? Paul Williams wrote Rainbow Connection.
Great song.
There you go.
There we go.
All right.
That is Annabelle Andrews from Freaky Friday.
Circle
for sure.
gets a square.
Yeah, there you go.
Dear God.
By the way, Freaky Friday remade multiple times. Cannot beat the original. I've seen it a 1,000 times.
You got to worry. You got to think about her dating profile because, like, some guy's reading it. It's like when she was alive, like gainfully employed, looks like a young Jodie Foster.
Oh.
And Paul Williams. All right, let's do one more.
All right.
Gina.
Well, I'm dedicating this one to.
Also-
Yes.
How funky must that apartment have been?
Oh, boy.
You got the heat turned up to
Oh, yeah,
95.
dead
You got a
body.
guy just doing
Texas,
squats in there
91.
all day long. Like, Does he have a girlfriend? When you open the door, you get that whoosh of whatever the person's up to.
Hits you in the face.
Like I used to go into people's units all fucking day. Everyone talks about shit jobs and they talk about, oh man, it's so hot working on one of those road crews with the asphalt and stuff. During the heat, minus the air conditioning, you walk into poor, crazy people's single-size apartment units. And when you open that door, you'll know everything. You'll know someone had bacon for breakfast.
What kind of soup they like?
I was going to say probably soup and cigarettes.
You know what they know if they smoke, and you know the difference between a pipe and a cigar and a cigarette
Cat
and
pee.
menthols. And you just open the door and you're like, oh shit, this is what this person is into. And they all were crazy. No air conditioning. I have to go into all their units and
Sticky
work
floors.
on them. And you knew as soon as the door opened, just whatever that
waft.
atmosphere.
Do they have a dog or
was.
two?
Yes, you knew it all.
Oh, boy.
Right there.
That's a good point.
There's a wet pillowcase. For some reason, there was like a raccoon scissoring a stuffed animal in the fucking closet.
You want to know
the Bagel Rock is
the creepiest unit was one guy. They're all kind of nuts. They're all kind of on government, they're on disability or whatever. Housing was subsidized.
Now he places the lotion in the basket.
Super small units. One guy, they all cooked with a lot of lard because they were like old school and you could smell that. But one guy like bought a half gallon of milk, twice a week for 40 years, and he had all the panels of the missing kids cut out and stacked up from floor to ceiling, 10 across.
You called the police, right?
Thousands of them.
He did it.
My greatest hits.
Yeah,
No one could possibly abduct that many children. Like there
was
were
his wish list.
thousands of them. I knew his schedule. These guys weren't going anywhere. They were just around.
Oh my God!
All day. But every single time he finished off one of those cartons of milk, you
have to cut out the square.
Oh yeah. He possibly rinsed it out. I do not know, but just the panel. And in order to get the panel is a 1/16 of an inch wide. In order to get 7 feet off the ground, you've got to be at this for years. Scary hoarding.
I would quit on the spot before I would step foot in that fucking
John
apartment.
Doe in 7.
Yes.
Oh, nothing was worse than when Shaky Jake got so tired
That's what you call your hand?
of all of us going into his unit and busting out cabinets and working in his unit because he was just in his unit all day. He was in his underpants. Picture Goodfellas. Picture Stacks.
Oh no!
From
I love
Goodfellas.
Stacks. Yeah. Samuel Jackson.
Just dress socks and briefs, just
Yeah,
sitting
but he
there.
was laying on high and left the van.
Right.
He pulled a shotgun on one of my coworkers who was going into his unit, construction guys, and so I was like down in the 3rd floor or something. And they're like, Shaky Jake's got a shotgun. Go up there.
You go up there?
Yeah, because I was the Menachem Begin of the group. People seem to like me. It's a very common construction
among your
reference.
coworkers.
So I walked in and Shaky had a shotgun out, and I was like, let's just relax here. Bring the temperature down a little. And he had double barrel shotgun, had both hammers pulled back, and we're sitting on the foot of his Murphy bed. He was in his underpants and black socks, and I was like, Shaky, we got to get the job done, and or Jake, I probably called him, and we got to get the job done.
Mr.
And
Jake.
we're gonna be out of here soon. And, it's for your own safety. And he sort of calmed down a little, and I said, let's just put the gun away. And he said, yeah, I'm not sure how to get the hammer back.
Oh yeah,
without it going off.
Sure.
And then,
fair.
Worst job ever. I'm sitting with this crazy old black man in dress socks and underpants with a double barrel shotgun, and I now have both fingers in my ears. Because
you bullied him.
I'm not going to get shot. He's facing it toward the wall,
but you're going to lose an eardrum.
But I don't want to hear this.
Yeah.
And he was able to get the hammer back.
Thank God.
Or both hammers back. That was Shaky Jake. Every unit had its own scent. Big time.
And I bet which one overall smelled worse, the men's units or the women's units?
There were very few women. Very few women. It was mostly all men. And and then there was a guy who shat in the bucket. And
Out of Carolla?
That's a popcorn tin.
he shit in a 5-gallon bucket, and I forgot about that one. But the reason I found that one is because some of my coworkers removed the shit bucket. It was a sort of liquid shit bucket, and they positioned it next to my table saw in the back where I was working.
That's fucked up.
About 5 feet away. Yeah, and they kind of put a piece of plywood over it, so like next to it, like whatever, I wouldn't see it. And then I went onto the table saw and I fired up the table saw and I was like ripping some pine, and then I would smell like the worst fart ever. And I'd stop the table saw and I'd look around and go, what the fuck is smell? Open sewage. I go. And it would like go away, and I'd fire the table saw back up again. I'd start milling, and the smell would come back again. And I was like, "What the fuck?" And I'd stop and I'd look around. There's a little area in the back of this 5-story unit, and I'd go, "What the fuck?" And anyway, certain point after about 5 times, I heard laughing, and all the guys were on the roof of the building, and they were dropping these big, oversized nuts that we put the shear anchor plates on the outside building. Into the bucket.
And they were dipped in farts?
Into the bucket of shit.
Make a splash.
And if he hit the bucket of shit, it would make a big fart splash.
Like the Bellagio fountain.
No.
Yes, and my back is turned working a fucking table saw. That's who you're dealing with on these job sites. They stole the guy's shit
the
bucket.
saw up louder.
They gave this guy a toilet, right?
He had a toilet.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He's a preference.
Full access to a toilet. Just like the FBI had the names of the kids that had been abducted, but these guys were burning the midnight oil. All right.
Speaking of abducted kids, Vicky, that picture of Vicky kind of looks like, the best friend of the missing kid on the milk carton.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Or maybe that's her, and Jodie Foster is that best friend. Which, by the way, did they ever find those kids? There's a documentary, Adam. Go on a hunt to try to find, or maybe there's a kid that's like, finally just, comes out of the woodwork and he's like, they never found me.
I've been here the
But
whole time.
I was milk carton Mikey.
Yeah. All right, ready to...
He's like, nobody looked because it was 2%.
But I like the alliteration. Let's bring it home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Surprise.
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.
All right, last but not least, there is Geico. Do you own, do you rent your home? Well, you do one or the other, and you work hard. So, it's easy bundling policies at Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see just how much you could be saving when you visit geico.com today. All right, the great Adam Ray in the theater at Virgin Hotels. That's coming up this Friday, and the Celebrity Theater on Saturday in Phoenix, and then Boulder on Sunday, doing the Boulder Theater. So God bless Adam Ray. And what you should do is you should tweet him or hit up his Instagram at Adam Ray Comedy. Corey DeAngelis as well, and you can check out his new book, School Choice Miss, available on Amazon. I'm going to be in Springfield, Missouri, Blue Room Comedy Club this Friday, Saturday, doing stand-up, and we're doing live pod there, too. And I think Kyle Dunnigan's going to join us on Saturday, so check that out for the early show. Adam, always a treat, my friend.
Love you guys. Great to see you. Hit up Joel about hosting the Fat Kid Stoner Show.
I will. Until next time, this is Adam Carolla for Adam Ray and Corey DeAngelis and Gina Grad and Paul Bryan. Say it. Mahalo. You put the hook in the eye of the minnow, and then it'll be like live bath. Like, I'm not putting a hook into the eye of one of God's creatures. And then when you get the fish on, you have to hit it with the bat.
Yeah,
hit it with the bat, and then later we'll gut it. And I'm like, let's go to the seafood market and let's see what halibut costs.